I've got a golden ticket.
The speaker on?
That's a winner!
Good Saturday morning. We're here live at DraftKings at Casino Queen. My name's David Sharf. I'm here with Clemson John. Good morning, John.
Yeah, good morning, David. We had quite a week.
Yeah, quite a week. We got a lot going on.
Yeah,
Before,
a ton of action going on this week.
before we get to the action, though, I want to talk about my new phone. Not that it has to do with anything, but I'm trying to get used to a new phone. I had an iPhone 7 up till a couple days ago. And
is that what you were betting the ping pong on?
Yeah.
The iPhone 7?
I couldn't see anything, right?
Well, my advice to you is to throw the iPhone 7 in the trash as well as the ping pong. Because we got way too much action to be worried about iPhone 7s and ping pongs.
Well, I just want to, but real quick, you are not an iPhone guy. You are not an Apple guy, right?
No.
Yeah?
No, I'm all Android.
All right.
Always have been.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you bet ping pong on your phone?
Yeah, during COVID maybe, but not now. You don't bet ping pong now. There's no betting ping pong anymore.
Well, we were on 590 The Fan last night, and we did bring this up, and I learned something, John. I learned I'm not the only one that bets ping pong in the middle of the night, because I had a 2-hour conversation with a friend of mine last week, and he wasn't really paying attention to me like most people that I'm on the phone with after an hour and a half of talking. But I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "How are you there?" He goes, Yeah, hold on a second. I said, "Well, what are you doing?" He goes, "I got to get my ping pong bet in." So there you go. I am not the only one that bets ping pong in the middle of the night. So we don't have to, we do have a lot to get to, but I just want to let you know and remind everybody who didn't listen to our show last night that I am not the only person that is in action in the middle of the night. So let's get to it. Great show last night on 590 The Fan. You can go to 590thefan.com and look up the podcast page and listen to all of our shows. But last night we had Ryan Kinder on. You can get his NFL picks. He's not with us today, but hopefully he joins us soon on Saturday mornings. John,
Ryan's coming off of an undefeated week.
Undefeated week, depending where you got the line, what day you got the line. But he was either 6-1 or 7. Pretty good day, right?
Yeah.
We all had a good day.
Can't get better than 7-0.
Well, you didn't do so bad yourself. You were 6-3.
Yeah.
So I'll take that. How many days of the week will you take that?
I'll take it every day of the week if we can find ping pong to bet on and go 6-3 on ping pong every day. I'll bet on ping pong, but I don't know anything about it, so I'm not going to touch the ping pong. I'll leave the iPhone 7s and the ping pongs up to you, David.
Couldn't find anything else to talk about. There's nothing going on, so we had to find out something to open the show with. So, hey, we got a lot coming up today. We got Britt Williams is going to join us again at 9:30. At 10 o'clock, we have Prodigy MMA. Man, can't wait for you guys to see the interview that I did with him earlier. He gives out the picks for the card this evening, and he's going to give he gave his main event pick already for next week, but he's going to join us next week again. And the super card of the year, he said it's the best MMA card of the year next Saturday night. Also next Saturday, we got a real treat. We got Earl Barron Jr. From the 2006 Miami Heat champions. He's going to be joining us live here at DraftKings at Casino Queen next week. We're very excited about that. We got to talk a little baseball first.
Yeah.
Let's
we got some playoffs going on, even though everybody's Cardinals are out of it. My New York Mets are out of it, but we got
so real quick
into the division series.
How do you become a Mets fan?
Okay,
I can tell the story.
So
right?
I grew up.
We got 2 hours.
Grew up in South Carolina. Obviously, big Clemson fan. Hated the Braves growing up. I don't know why, but in the '90s, I don't know. Just everything was Braves. So Braves and Mets are rivals in the East.
Yeah.
And that was about the time that John Rocker, you remember John Rocker, the old closer, said what he said about New York. So, and his disdain for the 7 train. So that infueled the rivalry between the Mets and the Braves. So, I became a Mets fan just because of, I love Mike Piazza as well. He got traded from the Dodgers to the Marlins for about 2 weeks. I don't know if everybody remembers that, but he was with the Marlins for about 2 weeks, and they shipped him to New York. So became a huge Piazza fan, huge Mets fan. Used to listen to a guy on the radio at night when I was about 13 years old named Arnie Spanier. And he was a huge Mets fan as well. So I've followed the Mets ever since. And then who wouldn't like to listen to Keith Hernandez call a game as well? Of
course.
He's a Mets broadcaster.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It gets us through the bad years of listening to Keith Hernandez.
Well, I really enjoyed as a kid watching Keith Hernandez play here in St. Louis. Yeah. And so I am a fan of his. So I give you some stories. Love baseball in general as a kid. And I used cards to, hopefully get them back in the mail. The player would actually sign them. Took me out to shop one day, and I came home with a Braves hat, and I just liked the hat. And I'm just a baseball fan. I'm a diehard Cardinal fan, right? And my dad didn't care for me buying the hat, the Braves hat. So I don't know if I wore it too much after that, but I am a Diamondbacks fan also. I was lucky enough to go to the first home game ever for the Diamondbacks, and I went to the first win ever, which was the next night for the Diamondbacks. I still have my ticket stubs for
1997,
97 or 98.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
7 or 8.
Yeah, 97 or 8.
The Devil Rays
I bet it's 97
in the league at the same time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 90. It could be 98. It's a long time ago, but I do have my ticket stubs at home. I keep them as souvenirs, and that was a pretty neat experience. Back then, they didn't allow scalpers. It wasn't allowed, but I got my tickets through a scalper back then. I was the top of the home plate with the last seat in the house game, and then 3 at the top on the first baseline. The Bank One Ballpark is beautiful. Full in center field, and is it left center? I think it's been many years since I've been there. But anyway,
they changed the name many times too.
Yeah, that's
I think
true.
It's Chase Field.
Yeah, it is. But I think it was Bank One Ballpark back then, and I just really enjoyed the experience. So when the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks, beat the Cardinals, go to the World Series and went on to win against the Yankees.
Oh yeah.
So I couldn't lose really as a fan. One of my teams was going to the World Series, and then I remember it was pretty crazy when the Diamondbacks beat the Yankees in the World Series. So
Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson as well.
Yeah, that's the only 2 pitchers they used for the most part, but pretty good combo, right?
Yeah, Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson both.
Yeah. All right. What do we got? Braves and Phillies. Phillies up 2-1.
Yeah, Phillies are coming out of nowhere, aren't they? I mean, nobody thought they were going to get past the Cardinals because the Phillies bullpen was, very troublesome. The Phillies defense was very troublesome. Phillies were getting made fun of during the year because their defense was so bad.
Yeah.
But they're finding a way to win. Their bullpen's stepping up. Their starters are, Nolan, Wheeler, not giving up any runs. And, they had some controversy yesterday with Hoskins hitting a 3-run homer and then off of Spencer Strider and slamming the bat to the ground.
Yeah, if you get a chance, go check that video out. Man, I'm surprised if he's going to take any heat over that or getting fined for that.
I mean, maybe in the past, 10, 15, 20 years ago, but I don't know, it's kind of moved on. You see Stanton hitting those mammoth home runs, and Giancarlo Stanton will kind of slam the bat or flip the bat. Yeah, that's something you probably wouldn't have done even 10, 15, 20 years ago, but now it's a little more accepted than it used to be. So probably not much will happen from that, but it was an interesting thing to see. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. Check it out if you get a chance. I've never been a big fan of sticking it in the other team, or I understand getting excited or flipping the bat, but you might want to wait to see if you win first, right?
Yeah,
there's nothing like doing that and then losing, right?
Yeah, that's true too.
Good job. Way to go.
A little bit's okay. You just got to use your judgment with it. I've always said, if you don't want somebody dancing, keep them out of the end zone.
Well, it's easy to say when you're a fan of a team that's always good, right? Right?
Yeah. It's just you got to use some judgment when you're celebrating.
100%. Yeah. All right. Astros, Mariners. Astros up 2-0.
Yeah, the Mariners gave up a heartbreaker in Game 1. I don't know if you guys seen it or not, but Alvarez hits a 3-run homer to win it for the Astros, bottom of the 9th, and that's just taking the cells out of the Mariners' boat. So they're quickly floating. Unfortunately, I was pretty big on the Mariners, but if you give up a 3-run homer like that, blow a 5-run lead, tough to come back from that.
Yeah, I know more than a few people that bet the Mariners earlier in the summer at some big odds to win the World Series.
Yeah. I like them to make the playoffs for sure, because back in July they were playing just kind of average ball, and then I looked at their September schedule, and their September schedule was loaded with Angels, Athletics, Angels. They threw another terrible team in there. I'm like, wow, their whole September is just cupcake teams. There's no way they don't make the playoffs. They had the
softest schedule in all of baseball for the month of September, and the Cardinals had the second softest schedule in all of baseball for the month of September.
And then it just came out that Wainwright injured his knee or leg against the Braves in a start, and that's what had happened to him for the whole month of September, pretty much, as he got banged up and wasn't able to, throw his curveball like he throws his curveball, like he did all year. Only that happens, but yeah, he really 5-paragraph.
Is it Guardians series tied 1-1?
Yeah. Yankees gave up game 2 at home. Yeah. Usually you'd think Yankees are going into extras. Their ballpark. They'll find a way to get a run and win the game. But no, Cleveland gets 2 in the top of the ninth to split that series 1-1, going back to Cleveland. Yeah. Now they got home field.
They're sneaky good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their bats are coming alive at the right time. Ramirez is an incredible hitter. So, Guardians looking dangerous.
All right, last one, Dodgers at Padres. Padres up 2-1.
Yeah, the Padres have been a weird team most of the year. A lot of high expectations coming into the year with, Tatis, and he got hurt, and then Machado, and, those guys. Machado's always reminded me of play. If he don't, he'll go a week with just nothing. And then, next week, the following week, he may turn it off. The Padres were a frustrating team to bet all year, too, because you'd think they're in a great spot, and they just lose 3 in a row to, Washington or the Royals or, some terrible team. So I stayed away from them for like a whole month. I was so frustrated with them. But they're turning it on now, if they can get that lineup going, obviously with Josh Bell, he played good against the Mets. He's hitting the ball with Soto in that lineup, who has not played well to trade, really. But dangerous bat, obviously. So, Padres are split that series with the Dodgers, though. So, we'll see what happens there.
All right, so now let's get we covered all 4 series. Let's get to action, see what we like for tonight. We've got the Braves and Phillies. Phillies at home. Money line is plus 105 for the Phillies at home. Braves are minus 125. The run line is 8.5. What do you like?
If anything, I'd probably lean to that under. 8.5 is a big line. It's hard to see get to 9. It's going to happen, but I think
except
more
yesterday.
Often than not, it's going to be under 9. You're going to see a lot of those 2-1, 4-2. That's what it was. Yesterday with like the Yankees, and 8.5 for sure.
Okay, Houston Astros, Seattle Mariners. Mariners at home. Mariners they're both minus 110, and the over under 7.
Yeah, I like the Mariners to win one. They gave game 1 up. They could have won game 2 as well. So I'd like the Mariners to get the playoff win at home. It's going to be if they are able to, then it's going to be their first playoff win in a very long time for the Mariners. So Seattle will be cranking crowd. So, I'd feel comfortable taking the Mariners there in a home spot.
Real quick, we'll go back to the Phillies Braves. You like the under. What I'm seeing is the over is minus 120. You're getting plus even money, plus 100. No juice on the under.
No juice on the under, guys.
8.5. So I like that.
Yeah. No juice on the under 8.5 in that Braves Phillies game.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, we're getting Major League Baseball now. So Yankees, Guardians minus 105 on the money line. Yankees minus 115. Was that minus? My eyes are over under 6.5. That's a low.
Yeah,
that's a low number. If you
It's
take the under, you're getting minus 105. It's minus 115 on the over.
yeah. The reason that the over under is like that's because Severino and that McKenzie kid is going. McKenzie pitched. Yeah, there's a reason it's 6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think this Yankees team is too good, though. I think they're so. I don't think they're going to get back to New York. I think they're going to win Game 3 and Game 4 and wrap it up.
Okay, real quick, we got minus 115 money line. If you give minus a run and a half, you got to win by 2. You get plus number. You get plus 155. You gonna stick with the minus 115 or?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
The minus 115. There's no reason to take the run line here and lay a run and a half. No reason.
All right, last one we got is Dodgers Padres. Padres are at home, plus 105 for the Padres. Dodgers are minus 125 over under 7. Getting a plus number. You're getting a plus number under 7, minus 120 for the over 7. What do you like?
Yeah, I think out of all the baseball plays, my favorite one's under 7 here.
Okay.
You're going to San Diego with a pitcher's park. So you've got that to the under advantage. You got Joe Musgrove going, who Joe Musgrove has been lights out. Shut the Mets down. Has been lights out in the month of September. So I really like them to hold the Dodgers to 1 run at most off Musgrove, and maybe the bullpen will give up another. Padres will probably, take this one 3-2, something like that. So this was probably my favorite pick of the day is the under 7 in this game.
All right, I like it. Real quick, I want to get to this before we go on to the NFL. Here at DraftKings, the Casino Queen, if you need a little help learning how to bet, these are right as you walk in. This is a betting guide. It gives a definition of every term imaginable on how to bet and what everything means. So grab one of these when you come in. If you have any questions, all the guys and gals at the front counter are there to help you out and teach you how to wager. And when we're here, we're more than happy to help also.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're here for a little bit after the show every Saturday. If you run into us, let us know. We'll help you explain anything we can to you. If you want to reserve some seats in here, especially during NFL, this place gets really, really busy. You can go online at DraftKings at Casino Queen, DraftKings at CasinoQueen.com and book your seating in here. And I tell you what, there's nothing like coming here. I know we say it a lot. We're going to stay here today and have a little lunch and watch some games afterwards. So I'm looking forward to that after the show.
Recommend the pizza and the nachos.
We're doing pizza and nachos today. We're definitely doing the pizza and nachos today. I had the sliders last time, and I'm ready for some pizza because everything is really great here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I do want to remind everybody that we are on 590 The Fan from 6 to 7 every Friday night after Bernie is out on 590 The Fan. John and I are there every Friday. It's a bunch of fun. And one of the things is Ryan Kinder's not with us today, but since he went 6-1, 7-0, depending where you got that last line last week, I'm going to read off his picks today since he's not with us. And we can go over those. He likes Arkansas money line today.
Yeah, Arkansas playing BYU. They're going on the road. On that one, all I got to say, Ryan, is more power to you on that one. I don't want Arkansas on the road, going to BYU, going to the mountains in Utah, playing. That's a little home field advantage for the Cougars of BYU. I'm going to leave that one alone, but best of luck to you on that one in Arkansas.
Ryan likes that. North Carolina -7, John.
Yeah, I kind of like this one too. North Carolina playing Duke. North Carolina's the better offense. They've got no you could put them 1 yard line and they'd have 99 yards to go, and North Carolina still couldn't stop them. You could arm them with chainsaws and they couldn't stop people. That's how bad they are. If you look at the defensive rankings on North Carolina, they're at the very bottom. So yeah, they can't stop anybody. They've got an all-star quarterback in May, but maybe they can put the kid at safety or defensive back or something. But North Carolina can't stop anybody. But they're the better team. I like them against Duke -7. They're going to score 40 points against Duke. So, I like North Carolina -7 here. That's a good pick, guys.
Unpopular amongst Clemson fans, especially the one sitting next to me. Ryan takes Florida State +3.5.
Oh, I want nothing to do with this one. Nothing to do with this one. I think Ryan forgot that Florida State's got no.
Now remember, he's not here to defend himself, right?
Well, that's okay. Yeah, I'm just calling it. Hey, I'm calling a spade a spade. I'm calling it like I see it, David. So Florida State's got no offensive line. The whole right's made it. Jordan Travis, their quarterback's going to be running from one end to the other. He's going to be running for his life the whole night. Jordan Travis is going to wake up from that game Sunday morning and think he was in a nightmare, I think. So, no, I don't think Florida State's going to be move the ball too much. I don't think they're going to get more than 2 touchdowns. They'll get like maybe one in the first half on a rally and then a, meaningless touchdown in the second half. And maybe they'll shank a 30-yard field goal through the uprights. But, 17 points.
All right.
That's all Florida State's getting.
Was that impartial?
Yeah, I took the old Homer hat off for that one.
I don't believe it. But
I did. I took the Homer hat off. That's just how it is. Clemson's got 4 NFL defensive linemen right now. Brian Breezy, Tyler Davis, Miles Murphy, and Xavier Thomas. These guys are going to be running Jordan Travis left or right, pounding them into the ground all night. Seminole Nation in Tallahassee.
All right, Kansas.
I don't like Florida State tonight, guys. No.
All right, Kansas +9.
Me and Ryan love this one. Yeah, we agree on this one. It's a huge pick for a lot of people. A lot of people are looking at it saying Oklahoma put 40, TCU put 40 on Oklahoma. Texas put 49 on Oklahoma. How Oklahoma can't stop anybody. They can't score all of a sudden. They lost 49-0 last week against Texas. Kansas is rolling in with a lot of momentum. They very well could have beat TCU last week. They lost Daniels in the first half, but the kid Jason Beam stepped in. They didn't seem to miss a beat. There wasn't too much of a drop-off from Daniels to Beam. So I think going into Oklahoma, Oklahoma's a mess right now, man. So Kansas +9. A lot of people are going to be jumping all over Kansas +9 today.
All right, moving on to the NFL. We got a few minutes left before we take a quick break, but Bills -2.5.
That's
Playing
the
Kansas
game of the
City.
week.
Yeah, that's the game of the week.
Yeah, I can't believe the NFL didn't put that at the 7 o'clock NBC Sunday night game or Monday Night Football. That's a 3 o'clock start time, Central Time. But Bills may be the best team in the league, right? Yeah, they may be with Josh Allen and Diggs and those receivers. They lost some of their secondary though. They lost some DBs. They lost some safeties. I like the over here. I love that over. I think both of these teams are going to score a ton of points. First half over, first quarter over, game over. This is going to be one of those 30-something games. Because I don't think Buffalo can stop anybody without their safeties and DBs. They lost some against Tennessee on that Monday Night Football about 3 weeks ago.
All right, moving on. We've got about 3 minutes before we take a break. Packers -7. He said redemption time for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I'm not so with this.
Yeah.
That's me personally. But
I like Green Bay here. I think
7's a lot.
Yeah, 7's a lot, but they're playing good. They're playing good.
Last week they didn't play good.
Yeah, that was understandable. Rodgers was in a spot here where you remember that night about a month ago where he just decimated the Bears.
Yeah,
it wasn't even close. That was a big line. I think we're going to have the same thing here. Aaron Rodgers is going to step in, decimate everybody in his path, throw for 3 touchdowns. So, yeah, I think Packers win big.
All right. Just a few minutes. We got the Bengals. He liked the Bengals money line, not the points. He minus 135.
Oh, Bengals money line. Yeah, I don't think the Saints are as good as they showed last week. They were playing a spotty Seattle team. Taysom Hill went off and scored like 2 or 3 touchdowns. That's not going to happen every week. You know, right. Taysom Hill's not going to score 2 or 3
Dalton
touchdowns.
Dalton is behind center.
Yeah, Dalton's behind center, but they had Taysom Hill doing all kind of stuff. You know that how they like to use him in that offense. But good luck on thinking Taysom Hill's going to score 2 and 3 touchdowns every week. Yeah, I'm not sold on the Bengals though, David. I'm not sold on them. Very fortunate. So I'm not sold on them. I don't love the pick against the Saints, but if I had to, I think.
Let's watch Chargers minus 4. Yeah. I like this. Actually, I'm going to roll with them on all of them. We went 4-0 in the NFL last week.
Yeah.
Thank you for cashing my 4-teamer. Thank you, Ryan, very much. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And guys, thank you out to Pat Day for posting his last week. He posted his ticket on our website. And not on our website, on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
And also on Twitter. Yeah. So
Pat, the fun is in the winning.
Congratulations. And he said he parlayed that into to Ryan's picks on Sunday. How do you like that?
Yeah.
He took that ticket and parlayed it on. I mean, that's a nice score. Good job, Pat.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough to go 13-3 every week. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We really appreciate all your comments. That's how we get better at what we do. We really enjoy doing this for you, and it's so much fun here. It's people are starting to roll in for those 11 o'clock games. It's 9:26.
Oh yeah, they're going to start pouring here at 11 o'clock Central Time, and you know we're going to get it cranking for sure. But yeah, like, subscribe, and comment, guys. It's how we keep all of this stuff going.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we're live here at DraftKings at Casino.
All right, welcome back to the Winning Ticket, everyone. My name is David Scharf, and I'm here with Prodigy MMA. What is going on?
Thanks for having me, David. Hopefully we get off to a good start here. First time on the show. Happy to be here.
Yeah, definitely can't wait to get to your picks. A few weeks ago, we had our friend Micah Mills come on and kind of explain a lot of the rules of MMA and fighting, and it was very interesting to learn. I'm more interested in the gambling aspect of how I can get my money down and make some money and enjoy the fight. It was very interesting, though, to find out how these fighters, and one of the main things I couldn't believe is getting down to a certain weight and then gaining 30 pounds before a fight. Can you, I'd love for your take on what that's all about.
Yeah, these guys put their bodies through hell during the fight week. They'll come in, 25 pounds over, cut it all in about 4 days, 3-4 days, and they put it all right back on fight night. Put on 11-12% of their body weight right back on. It's crazy.
Yeah, so my theory with that is, why make them go through all that and just have the weight classes higher?
A lot of people have been bringing this up. Some people, they can't fight after they weigh in. They don't have enough liquids, but it's just the way the sport is right now. They're trying to figure something out, but
yeah. So I mean,
right now.
Yeah, I mean, the health of an athlete, right? That's the most important thing, and especially they're doing it not only for themselves, but they're doing it for our entertainment. And you want them to stick around a while and be okay. Especially when you have money on these guys, right? And these ladies. You don't know how this losing weight affects your money, right? You don't know how they're actually feeling when they get in the ring.
Well, there's a couple of guys on this card who have missed weight in the past, and they might do it again. So we'll find out on Friday.
So what happens when they miss weight? What's the procedure? Do they not fight?
It's up to the other fighter. They either get a percentage of the purse, or they can decline the fight.
Okay. All right. Well, I haven't really heard. I mean, I'm not invested in this as you are, but my knowledge of it is minor. But have you seen that happen?
Oh, it's very often. It could happen. I would say average is maybe one a card, one every other card. It's close.
Wow. Do they have how soon does a fighter need like a replacement fighter? How soon? A week early? A week? 2 weeks before?
There's actually a fight on the card that I believe it was made on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Wow. And then they can find a replacement fighter that fast.
Yeah. The replacement doesn't always make weight, but they bring somebody in.
All right, we got this UFC Vegas 62 tonight. It is Saturday the 15th. What do we got going on? Let's go over the card.
So it's a fight night card. It'll be free on ESPN. Decent overall card. We got a women's main event, which actually is a pretty good scrap. A lot of people like to hate on the women's main events, but I like this fight. There's some intriguing betting spots I'm looking to get into here.
All right, so let's go through the card. Let's go, I guess, fight by fight and get your analysis.
So opening fight on the card, welterweight fight, 170 pounds between Mike Jackson and Pete Rodriguez. Very low level fight, probably shouldn't be in the UFC. Mike Jackson is only here because he's still on contract from fighting CM Punk, the wrestler. I don't know if you're familiar with wrestling too much, but that was just, that was a show they put on, but he's still under contract now. He's coming in as a plus 500 underdog. Pete Rodriguez, 4-1. He's a minus 700 favorite. The only reason he would ever be a minus 700 favorite is if he's fighting a guy like Mike Jackson. Not really. He's a part-time MMA fighter. He's got some kickboxing skills, but there's not much there. If this was anybody else other than Pete Rodriguez in this spot, I'd probably take the favorite. I'm not laying minus 700,
Right.
but this is a pass for me overall.
So when they set up fights like this, what's the attraction for somebody like me, newly getting into the sport? I mean, it's such. I guess anything can happen, right? I mean, they are two professionals getting in the octagon together, but it is from a wagering standpoint, you got to find different things to bet on.
Yeah, nobody should realistically be wagering on this. Mike Jackson did cash in his last fight as about a plus 800, but he won by disqualification from getting eye gouged.
Okay, so it does happen, right? I
wouldn't count on it to happen twice here, though.
I mean, how many Buster Douglases can we expect, right? I mean, when it comes to
once every decade, maybe with these guys.
When it comes to that, I mean, it's just so big a difference. So I want to talk about. We'll get into this a little bit later, but prop betting, right? I imagine there's a lot of spots when you have, by round, by way of knockout, right? By way of submission, right? There's so many. Maybe you could go over a little bit of that and how we can maybe find some value in betting.
Yeah, especially a fight like this, you would need to look into the props, in my opinion. Unless you're taking the dog. If you're taking a dog shot at this number, I can't argue that. But I'd look to play the under, maybe under 2.5 rounds you could attack. It's not very reasonable priced on this one, but submissions, knockouts, you can bet everything with the props here at much better lines, especially if it's a big favorite.
All right, we've got 11 other fights on the card. Let's get to it. What do we got next up?
Yeah, we spent too much time on that fight.
That's okay. I'm learning, right?
You got Tatsuro Taira, prospect out of Japan. He's 22 years old, taking on CJ Vergara, who's had a couple UFC fights. Taira comes in as a 250 favorite. The comeback on the dog, CJ Vergara, plus 215. The price is starting to get a little wide, but I would prefer the favorite in this scenario. He's really got a great grappling game. He takes the back and he doesn't give it up. He can get a submission, rear naked choke. Vergara has shown after he gets taken down, he likes to give his back up. It's proven time and time again. And if he does it here, he's probably going to get choked out.
All right. Any suggestions? Is this a pass for you, or is there any suggestions on how we can make some money here?
I'll be looking to play the Tatsuro Taira sub prop at plus 350. It's a nice line there, and I think there's some good value.
And that's just to win outright, right?
That's on the submission.
Oh, submission. Okay.
He's a minus 250 dog. Submission's plus 350.
Oh, I love turning the number around like that, right? And we talk about,
Absolutely.
yeah, we talk about value all the time and how to find it. And this is what I'm talking about: turning a minus 250 into a plus 350.
Always
I'm in.
looking for plus money.
Absolutely. All right, what do we got next?
You got a women's fight, strawweight division, 115 pounds. Piera Rodriguez coming in at a minus 170, taking on Sam Hughes plus 140. It's a decent matchup between these girls. It should be a pretty close fight. I have it closer to 50-50 than the line indicates. So I definitely think there's some value on the dog here in Sam Hughes. She's on a decent little 2-fight win streak after dropping her first 3 fights in the UFC. I think she's going to outpace her, out cardio, start landing takedowns in the second and third round, and take this fight over.
That sounds good. I love it. I love the plus number. I'm in. I can't wait. All right, what do we got next?
We're moving on to middleweight, 185 pounds. You got Nick Maximov versus Jacob Malkoun. Both guys are going to be looking to wrestle. Good grapplers. They got a solid jiu-jitsu game. Not much to write home about with them on the feet. Their striking has a lot to improve on, but I would give the slight edge to Malkoun here in the striking department. I think their grappling kind of evens out. And a lot of times with these grappling matchups, you see a 15-minute kickboxing match because they can't take each other down. And at that point, I'll take the dog, Malkoun, at plus 110 price. Another 50-50 fight. There's a little meat on the bone there. He opened up at about plus 140. He's been getting steamed all week, so it's not much left.
So, yeah, but you see that, and I'll give an analogy. Like, I'm a horse racing guy, right? And I try to find value in horse racing. And I see an opening line at 20-1, and you see the money go, and the horse ends up at 3-1. So, we call it smart money in horse racing. Would you consider it the same thing in
Absolutely.
MMA? Yeah,
absolutely. These are the guys that know what they're doing, and they're playing the number. They see the same thing. It's the plus number on a 50-50 fight, and the line's getting broken down to even now.
So even if you have it at even, plus 110 is a good price.
It's right on the borderline for me. It's iffy.
Okay.
140 would have been a great line right there.
So when you see a plus 140 earlier in the week, do you try to lock it in as soon as possible?
Yeah, but there's usually limits. You can't get too much down on the openers. It's a lot of soft limits there.
Well, New Jersey was the first state outside of Nevada to legalize sports betting, and now there's over 33 states that allow some form of sports betting. How is it in the state of New Jersey? Man, I'm curious. I've never been there. I'm curious how the books are set up there. Are they at the racetracks? Are they standalones? How can you bet on your phone? How does that work out there?
It's a little bit of everything. I believe each book has their own, brick and mortar in a casino or a racetrack. All of them have online mobile apps. I mean, you have to at this point. Everybody's using their phone. But it's been good. There's more and more books. They keep popping up every couple months, and because the old ones are definitely starting to limit people that are beating them.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that happens. They don't want to lose, right?
Exactly.
So you gotta have multiple books to spread out your action, especially when you feel like you have an edge.
For sure.
All right, next up, what do we got?
We have Victor Henry coming in at a minus 400. Big price against the veteran Rafael Asuncao coming in at plus 300 in a bantamweight match. Henry's coming off a win as a plus 400 dog in his last fight. Now he moves to a minus 400. bit of a market overreaction.
Yeah.
Asuncao is 40 years old. At bantamweight, 135 pounds, you do not want to be an old man there. But he's getting a little disrespected here. He has wins over two former bantamweight champions, Aljamain Sterling and TJ Dillashaw, who are both fighting on the card next week for the championship. But the 40-year-old age does scare me a bit. So I don't know if I will make the jump on the dog here, but it's enticing.
Yeah, it's enticing because you're getting the value at the price, right? So
Absolutely.
once again, risk for reward. You're not gonna bet the favorite here, right? So if you're gonna
It's,
make a wager, you're gonna take that chance with the older fighter and getting a nice price.
yeah, I'm definitely seeing an overreaction on the market here. Way too much, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. All right, moving on.
We have Joe Anderson Brito taking on Lucas Alexander. Brito's a minus 400, another heavy favorite. Alexander coming in at plus 300 in the featherweight matchup. This was the short notice fight that got made, I believe, on Wednesday. Haven't had a chance to dig into it too hard on Lucas Alexander. So we might have to move to the next one here.
Yeah, let's go. Let's. I won't waste any time on that.
After that, we got Brandon Davis taking on Manny Martinez. Martinez, the minus 160 favorite. Brandon Davis coming in at plus 135 in another bantamweight fight. Uh, both of these guys I'm not high on in the division. Two fighters coming off losses. Both didn't look very good in their last performances. Davis is in his second stint with the UFC. He does not have a good record. Just got knocked out clean in the first round. Looked a little washed up. These are both guys I'm looking to fade in the future and not play right now.
All right. So when you lay out when you're evaluating a game, I like to talk about process, right? You don't have to. I'm not asking you to give your secrets, but maybe just one kind of like if I wanted to learn how to handicap myself, uh, what would somebody a novice like me that's just getting into the sport uh, to learn what could I use? Is there any like fan graphs in football, baseball? What can I use to start handicapping myself?
You can watch the fights. You gotta every week I'm taping fights. You gotta watch at least the last 5 fights for each individual fighter, and then you can determine a percentage. What do you think they're gonna win versus the other guy, and then you set the implied odds. It's very simple. Compare it to the line after that, and there you go.
And that's how you find value, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
always.
But you got to know what you're looking for when you're watching these fights. So it's just by learning and watching. Is there any tool that I could use to speed up the process?
There's UFC stats that'll show you takedown percentages, striking accuracy. But a lot of these guys only have 2, 3 fights in the organization. It's a small sample size, not that accurate. But you can also use Tapology. Check out their records, see who they beat, see what method they're beating people, if they're submitting guys or knocking them out. It's helpful for sure.
What about injury reports? Is there anything the way to find out, like how bad they were hurt in their previous fight or how they're feeling up to date? Is there anything like that?
I'll listen to any interview they've done up until the fight, see if they've said they have any nagging injuries. Do a little social media handicapping, check out their Instagram, see if they're wearing a knee brace, which one, Brandon Davis, we just spoke about, is wearing a knee brace 4 weeks before a fight. It's not exactly what you want to see if he's the guy you're placing your money on.
Yeah, I also want to know, and probably not, but I want to know if these guys have been out late the night before. I want to know. I
I've
want to know
seen
if,
some fighters
yeah, I mean, I want to know if
Instagram stories.
their girlfriend broke up with them. I want to know any information I can get that could be either messing with their head or how their body's feeling. And I don't know how I would get that information, but like you said, check the social media, right? You don't know
Have
what
to,
you might
have to.
find. Yeah, you don't know what you might find that could give you an edge.
There's always diamonds in the rough.
Right. All right. Next up, what do we got?
We have a light heavyweight matchup between Misha Serkinov and Alonzo Menafield. Your classic grappler versus striker matchup. Serkinov's coming in at a plus 175 underdog. Menafield at the minus 220 price tag. This opens up the main card, so the prelims are finished. So there's 5 fights left, including this one. I don't think the price on the favorite is justified here. Menafield is he looks a very imposing guy, and he does not have the knockout power to match it. So I don't think this price tag is matching that. People think he's going to knock out Serkinov because Serkinov has a very questionable chin, doesn't take punches too great, but if he gets this fight to the mat, he should be able to end it with one takedown with a submission, or he can just ride that out and do it again in the coming rounds. I like the plus 175 tag here for Serkinov, and I'll definitely be playing that.
Plus 175. Okay.
Sure.
What's any prop bets that we can look at here? I don't know. I'm asking you because how to bet on this is, can you parlay the prop bets within a match? Can you take? I know you can take this bet or a prop bet and bet it with another match, but can you do a 2-game parlay, a 2-match parlay with prop bets?
So some states will allow that. You can do the same game parlays within a fight, or you can just other books will just offer Menafield to win in round 3, or fighter wins by submission in round 1. There's plenty of options. If there's a prop that you want to take, it usually will be offered.
Okay, great. We got a few left, right?
4 fights left. We have Dusko Todorovic taking on Jordan Wright. Todorovic, the minus 200 favorite. Wright coming in at plus 165. Wright has never been past the 6-minute mark of a fight in his career in 15 fights. This is a be killed fighter. He's looking to get in and get out. But the problem is, I don't think he's very good. His takedown defense and his grappling has proven to be non-existent. On the other side, Dusko Todorovic, he's had his problems in the UFC. He's been knocked out. He's very chinny. If he's able to withstand the early barrage from Jordan Wright, he should absolutely take over this fight and dominate. But it's a caveat if he can survive that first 3-4 minutes and get this fight either to the mat or slow down Wright. So I will be looking to play Todorovic at the minus 200 tag. I think it is justified. And if he takes one on the chin early in the fight, that's the way we're most likely going to take the L on that.
Yeah, minus 200 is definitely playable. You get into the high minus 2s, minus 3, minus 4. It's either a layoff or a prop. That's what I'm getting from how you wager.
If my number is big enough, if I see the value on a minus 500, I'll take it. But
okay.
It's rare. I got to be capping a fight at 85, 95%.
All right. Before we get on to the next fight, you talked about implied odds. For those that don't know what that means, can you explain it?
It's basically the odds at the sports book that you give a percentage to. That's what the odds are going to be. And I like to line that up with what the book has the line at and see what the difference is there.
All right, very good. Next up, we've got 3 fights left.
We have Askar Askarov taking on Brandon Royval in a flyweight fight, 125 pounds. Both of these guys are ranked, 2 very good fighters in the division. I think this line's pretty justified. Royval has a very suspect takedown defense, and Askarov has very good wrestling. So he's a justified minus 250, but he has not the best gas tank. If he slows down, Royval could absolutely take this fight over, and he is a guy that creates chaos. And if he creates chaos in this one, he could steal this fight, but I'm willing to pass here.
Yeah, I'm okay with a pass, right? There's plenty of other things we can get in action on and just enjoy the fight.
Absolutely.
And you said it's on ESPN, so it's not a pay-per-view this week, correct?
No pay-per-view this week. Next week, big pay-per-view card. Probably the card of the year next week.
Wow, that says a lot. We'll get into the main event here in just a second, but we've got two left. What do you got?
We have Jonathan Martinez taking on Cub Swanson. Martinez minus 215 favorite. Cub coming in at plus 170. This will be Cub Swanson's first fight at bantamweight, 135 pounds. He's fought his entire career at 145. He's a UFC Hall of Famer right now, still active. A lot of people are questioning this move, as am I. Why wait till you're 38, 39 years old to go down in a weight class, which is extremely tough on a 38-year-old body,
Yeah.
especially at that weight. But I'd like to see how he looks on the scales here as a plus 170 underdog. He comes in clean. He looks good. It should be a competitive fight, and he should be a worthwhile underdog. But you have to watch the scales.
What's the plus number?
Plus 170.
I like plus 170.
It's a nice one.
Yeah. All right, we're at the main event. Do we have a pick here?
This is a good fight in the flyweight division between Grasso and Araujo. Grasso comes in minus 225, taking on Araujo at plus 180. This should be a very good scrap between these women. Should be competitive, especially in the early rounds. Viviane Araujo, the underdog, has a grappling advantage, and she should be competitive on the feet here. Her only problem is she does have cardio issues, and this is a 5-round fight as opposed to a 3-round fight. She's only fought 3-rounders before. This is a huge change when you add another 10 minutes onto the fight. And Grasso has great cardio. She trains at Elevation in Mexico City. She should be able to pour it on late. I think the line's pretty accurate here. If anything, I would look to play a prop for Araujo to finish inside the distance. If she was going to win, I would expect her to do it early, grab a sub. It's a decent price on that. You can get as high as plus 1,600 if you want to take a little poke at it.
Yeah. Now you're talking my game right there.
But she's got a shot, especially early in the fight.
Okay, so the plus 1,600, let's just to be clear, that is to go the distance, right? Or is
That is for Araujo to win by submission.
Win by submission. Okay.
Yeah, yes. She's got to choke her out, or Grasso has to tap.
Okay. Will you be playing that at plus 1,600?
I might have a little bit of it. Yeah.
It's like pulling teeth, man. I just want to hear you say yes, because I can't wait to go to the window because that's all I see is the plus 1,600. I don't know if I heard anything else you said. No,
it certainly jumps off the page at you.
Yeah, absolutely. So next week, the 22nd, you said could be the card of the year. That's saying a lot. Let's talk about the main event a little bit, and if you like anything.
This main event is probably the fight of the year as well on the card of the year. Charles Oliveira, who's no longer the lightweight champ, he vacated his title due to missing weight in his last fight, which there was a lot of allegations that the scale was off, some crazy things happening behind the scenes, but he's right back fighting for his title because he won the fight regardless. Taking on Islam Makhachev, Khabib Nurmagomedov's protege, trained under him his whole career. He's only got one loss in his career, and he's been on an absolute tear throughout the UFC. He comes in at about a minus 170 favorite. The defending champ or 3-time champ Charles Oliveira coming in as the underdog about 135, 140. I really like Makhachev in this matchup. It's not the popular favorite play, but I think he has all the tools to get this done. He should be able to survive on the ground with Oliveira. Many guys have done it before. It's just a recent run by Oliveira has been highly impressive, finishing multiple opponents in a row. But I think Makachev should be able to get this done, and it will be one of my bigger plays of the year.
Oh, love hearing that. And the price again?
Minus 160.
Okay, so 160. Have you had a chance to look at any of the other fights on the card, or is it too early?
Oh no, there's some great fights. There's the other championship fight on this card will be Aljamain Sterling versus T.J. Dillashaw. Sterling is the defending champ, taking on T.J. Dillashaw, who was the previous champ a couple years ago before he popped for steroids or EPO. Um, Sterling comes in as a minus 170, come back on Dillashaw about 140, 145. I really like Sterling to get this done. I think he's got the size advantage. I think he's got the grappling advantage. He should be able to bank at least 3 rounds in this fight before he starts to fade as it grows. But I think he should be able to get this done pretty comfortably, banking 3 rounds.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit. Okay, now we know who to wager. Now I'd like to talk about how to wager, especially in this sport. Um, are you a parlay player? Are you a flat better? And with this comes, are you a unit player? I've had people on that bet the same amount on every game, any match or any game that they decide to play. And I'm a unit player, right? So when I like something much more than another, I will make it more units on that play. So I'd like to know how you approach your wagering.
I'm a unit player as well. Everything from zero point 0.5 units to my biggest bet I've ever made was 6.6 units. So I would say I think my average is about 1.4 units. I do not like to parlay too often.
Okay.
It'll be too juicier. Fight doesn't go the distance or underplays that I think will definitely finish inside the distance. But it's pretty rare for me to have a parlay. I do like to target underdogs. I try to have all my plays plus money, but if there's value, there's value. I'm gonna take it regardless.
Yeah, that's
Props and props and money lines. I would say it's about 65-35 money lines to props.
okay.
There's always value you could find in the prop section for sure.
So I imagine on your flat betting, money line betting, that the units are higher than the prop betting. Is that, or is it case by case?
Normally they'll be higher unless I'm playing a fight to go to decision, fight not to go to decision, or unders. They can be the same amount usually as a straight bet on the money line.
All right, right on. I want to tell you that we either next week or the week after, we have a young man here from the St. Louis area named Evan Elder who has joined the UFC. Are
I
you
know
familiar with
Evan
him?
Elder.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
he's
I
going to be.
wagered on him in his last fight.
Yeah, he did lose his only UFC fight, but I believe he's 7-1 in his professional career
Oh yeah, he
overall.
was he was a decent underdog, and he fought tough. I will be looking to back him in the future, especially if they give me another underdog price on him. He was fighting up a weight class, I believe. He's a tough kid.
Yeah, and I've had a chance to talk with him before we're getting ready for this interview in the next few weeks. He is training at Killcliff right now in Florida, and he's really given me some good insight on a lot about the game. A lot about fighting, and it just makes me more interested. I've been a boxing guy. I'm in my 50s. I've been a boxing guy my whole life, and It's like I couldn't let myself enjoy this because I've been a boxing guy now. uh, I'm finding it more and more interesting, and I'm actually liking it better than boxing at this point in my life, and it's more fun. And there's so many ways and different uh, disciplines, right?
This is one of the most high variance sports you can bet on. Any you could get knocked out in 5 seconds. They could drag it out for 25 minutes. But it's the fastest growing sport in the world. It's incredible to watch. Year over year, every people are getting more interested. A lot of people that, like you said, boxing are transitioning. But it's tough to make those big boxing fights happen, and UFC gets it done. You see on a weekly basis. So
Yeah, on a weekly
uh,
basis, right?
yeah, it's quite impressive. But I cover UFC, Bellator, PFL, all of the major organizations as well.
Yeah, I have loved having you on, and please let our listeners know how to follow you because you give out such great information. How can we follow you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at prodigy_MMA_. You can follow me on Instagram, the same handle. I try to put out tidbits of information, some free bets, anything people want to see. You can find it on there.
All right, right on. I appreciate you coming on, and I hope you will take the time to come back with us again.
I appreciate me having me, and you should enjoy this card, but next week is the great card.
All right. Well, I'm definitely going to get my bets down for today. So that's gonna definitely happen, and we'll see. Maybe I can parlay the winnings from today in the next week. But I'm sure I'll find a few dollars even if I don't make any money today for next week.
Absolutely.
All right, my man.
And my Mountaineers are playing against Baylor right now. Let's go Mountaineers, baby.
Yeah, I love it. I love it when my guests have their team and they got to say it's so fantastic. I don't know. I might have to turn it on myself. All right, listen. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll have you back soon.
All right, thanks for having me.
Just
it's just the little things in the playoffs though that are magnified. If this is game number 127 or game number 63, nobody knows about it. But it's playoff baseball, and now back-to-back years, the Cardinals are searching for answers in that bullpen.
Last year, I wasn't all that. I'm obviously disappointed because I want my team to win all the time, but them not going far in the playoffs last year didn't really shock me. We really weren't a great team.
Right.
But this year,
I think a lot of people incredible start last year by Wainwright in LA, and then it's like, he gets out of a jam in the fifth or the fourth or fifth inning.
Yeah, early.
Yeah, and then it's like, we got a shot at this.
Yes.
And then he brings in who did Schilt bring in? He gave up the Reyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he brings in Reyes. A lot of people.
That was such a terrible decision. Reyes was not prepared to be in that scenario anymore. Like, he had lost it, right? He had a really great first half as the closer, and then he lost something mentally. It was not the right choice.
When's the last time the Cardinals have had that reliable year after year closer?
Not.
Yeah.
The year we won it, 2011, he was lights out.
Yeah.
He was decent in 2012, I believe, too, after he recovered from his injury from the celebration.
Yeah.
But since then,
kind of
who was it?
Rosenthal, kind of.
The first year, the first 2 years. Then he went crazy. We don't ever have anybody for more than 2 seasons.
He was good that 1 year. Blow them all, Rosenthal.
That's right. The walks, the amount of walks that our relievers give up is just unacceptable. It's just unacceptable.
They're still searching for that reliable bullpen, really. You look at a lot of teams that aren't even in the playoffs anymore have that reliable. You look, the Mets with Diaz had an incredible year this year. Diaz was just lights out.
Yep.
But then the Mets bats go to sleep, and they can't get any hits off Musgrove, which Musgrove was a great pitcher. He's pitching today against the Dodgers. That's why I like the pop. So. They're still searching for answers in that bullpen.
I said at the beginning of the year that the Mets weren't as good as everyone said they were, that they were not going to win the World Series, that they're not going to win in the playoffs. Like, they're a poser team. I've said that from the beginning.
I love that saying.
They're
pitching. Not who they said they were.
They have strong starting pitching, but as soon as, look, what is it, DeGrom? He's always hurt, right? Always hurt. Scherzer. Like garbage. Well, you're done. Entire system that you had carried.
3-starter though. If you're going to throw somebody in a 3 role,
you can't win playoff games without a 1 or a 2.
Jacob DeGrom wasn't hurt though. Until once he came back, he was okay. He spent maybe one time for skip a start here, skip a start there, probably out of caution more than anything. But Scherzer having that start Friday against the Padres is what kind of did them in.
Yeah.
Once you lose game 1 with Scherzer like that, it's like, We're behind the 8 ball here. They win on that Saturday, and then Sunday, I don't think the All-Star team was going to touch Musgrove.
No, he was lights out. It was funny to watch him check his ears.
Yeah,
for substance. That was pretty funny. That was pretty good
out.
gamesmanship. I'll give the coach some props on that. It's good gamesmanship trying to throw him off his game.
Yeah.
The Padres might win their first series against the Dodgers in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, no,
This is wide open.
It's going to be impressive.
I'm actually
baseball
rooting for
playoffs
him.
is wide open though.
Yeah,
I don't know
It
who
is.
the favorite is.
Man, the Astros, God, they keep. I felt like I feel so disappointed for the Mariners because they've had them on the ropes both times, and the same dude just keeps stepping up and hitting bombs. I'm just like, oh my goodness, they've had them. Seattle has looked.
It's not over.
It's over. It's over.
Yeah,
They're gonna
I
get
think
swept.
it's over,
They're gonna
too.
get swept.
If you blow game 1, the way they did,
Yep.
it just takes
That was a little hard.
Well, they
for us.
did,
wind out of
right?
you.
But then they came back in for game 2. They're like they regrouped. They were leading, and then he still hits a game-winning home run. Like
I would tell them to rebound for 1 game, but first playoff game in Seattle in a very long time.
since what?
So, 99
A-Rod?
or
Since
two-
A-Rod was
Yeah,
there,
Oh
with
my God,
Griffey?
I forgot about A-Rod back
And Griffey?
Yeah.
I
Oh my
think it was
goodness.
99.
It's been a hot
around
minute.
there, but, nevertheless, I mean, they're going to
You
have
were
a
a
lot of
little
momentum
kid
going in.
Yeah.
A lot of excitement today for the Mariners. So, wouldn't surprise me if they win today, but I don't see them get much further.
Yeah, it's
Definitely don't see them winning Game 5 if they
No.
get back to Houston.
no. It's unfortunate. I think the Phillies are gonna end the Braves season. So I have said this. The teams that get the bye weeks, it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
That waiting in baseball, it's about rhythm. You just stopped all the rhythm.
I agree with that.
So look at when we won the World Series in 2006. The Tigers
You mean when
swept.
Pedro and El Duque got hurt?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
But the Tigers swept and were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for us to finish our series, and then we came in there and just demolished them. Same thing happened in 2011. They were waiting for us.
Yep.
Every time the team's waiting for more than one game,
Yeah, I mean,
they'll win.
a lot of it's momentum if you're playing good right
It
now. You look at the Phillies, Phillies were a laughing stock in
Yes.
July, June. I mean, they were on blooper clips every
Yes.
week for their defense was just incredibly bad.
Well,
Their bullpen was the worst,
yeah, it's bad.
and now all of a sudden they got the Brennan.
I know. So what's really funny about them playing bad defense is we came into the series knowing that they were bad defenders, and they made some just incredible plays against us. Their third baseman just
Right.
had Gold
Yeah.
Glove moments after Gold Glove moment after Gold Glove moment. But then they had they looked normal in the Braves game, the game 2, where the first baseman just couldn't feel the ball. I was like, where's this Phillies team? Why couldn't we have played them?
Yeah, but they have that rhythm like you were talking about.
It's hitting. Hitting is contagious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that rhythm allowed the Tigers to get thrown off in 06.
Yep.
Allowed the Cardinals to be the worst team to ever win a World Series,
Yes.
by the way.
Yes.
They
85
were-
wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. They needed John Smoltz of the Braves to beat the Astros on a Sunday to clinch the division.
That's right.
They limped into the playoffs, and, the Mets couldn't get out, and the Mets were incredible that year.
Dude, I know exactly where I was at when we won the World Series in 2006. I just came into
Yeah.
my head. It's just
I know
straight.
where I was in 2011
I was at the
in right
game.
field.
Yeah, I
Really?
both 6 and 7.
Really?
Well, I got into the game in the 8th inning. They let us in the bottom of the 8th inning, and I went straight upstairs all the way to the top behind home plate, and I was standing on the rail behind this guy, and security comes over and says, "Hey, you can't stand here." And the guy sitting right in front said, "Hey, man, it's game 7 of the World Series, 9th inning.
Yeah.
Give the guy a break,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, don't." And he goes, "All right, what are you gonna? I mean, come on, let
Really?
the guy alone,
Right.
man. I mean, come on, really? I mean, it's the 7th game of the World Series, right? Let him watch. Thank you.
Game 6 was obviously the crazy game, but that was the first game I've ever seen my mom get so into baseball. She watches the Cardinals with me and my dad, and yelling at the TV with me. I was like, "This is great. This is a great game."
Yeah. Game 6 was Unbelievable. And I and my wife is watching, so thank you for letting me go to that game because I'll never forget it. And it was like we paid face value last minute, 375 third base, right at third baseline, all inclusive for 375.
Dang, that's a steal.
That was game 7?
That was game 6.
Oh, 6.
It's a steal.
6.
What was the one you got into the 8th inning?
That was game 7.
7. Okay.
Yeah. So I actually stayed after the game, and where the ESPN booth was, right by the third base line, right past in the outfield, right. So right by this, I actually went down there and with Chris Berman and just sat there and watched that afterwards. And they basically had to kick me out of the stadium that night. But man, what a cool feeling, man! Watching everybody wait, to the fans.
Oh, yes.
And it was pretty neat to be there for that. Yeah. After game 6 is like game 7 was like game 2 with the Cardinals this year. In the series against.
Oh yeah, we were gonna win.
It was like was like all the energy is completely out.
Yes.
Right. So that's how game 7 kind of felt till the end.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, I was only there in the 8th inning, but you could feel like it wasn't the same atmosphere. It was like game 6 was game 7.
When they called Mott to come in, and they played Eminem's "Lose Yourself" when he came in, they started like dimming the lights and stuff. The entire stadium started to shake.
Yeah.
It was so loud.
Yeah.
And I've only experienced a shaking kind of stadium one other time in my life, and that was at Arrowhead, because that stadium's always shaking. It's incredible. But it was it was one of the craziest feelings just as a fan. You just knew we were about to just clinch this.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Yeah. So did you go to game 7?
Yes.
You went to both.
I didn't go to game 6. I watched it from my couch with my mom.
Okay.
But yeah, I spent like $450 to be in right field. It was the best $400 I've ever spent.
Oh, 100%.
And I was not. I mean, I was a broke college kid. Like it was the greatest game ever.
That's such a neat story.
Yeah,
I love
that's
it.
the thing about the thing about sports. It brings everybody together.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is, rich, poor, Republicans, Democrats. Doesn't matter. It'll bring everybody together.
Yeah.
Everybody was cheering for the Cardinals that night. Saturday, everybody in South Carolina cheering for the Tigers. Doesn't matter who they are. During the week, it may be different, but everybody's cheering for the Tigers.
Yeah.
That's what
I almost missed, part of the. I got out of there. I was in where you buy all the souvenirs in the back. Well, it depends where you are in the stadium, but compared to where I was sitting. But the whole that shop, all the bats and everything, and I was having a bat made for my daughter.
Oh,
yeah, so having a
cool.
engraved bat, and I almost missed all of that. I got back. They finished it in time for. I just got back to my seat.
Oh wow, for game 6 stuff. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, because everybody was running out of the stadium. Right?
It was such a roller coaster game.
A lot of people trying to get back in, right?
Yeah.
Right after we tied it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
people were turning around on the highway.
It was such a roller coaster game. Remember, Freeze dropped the infield fly ball. I've never been so furious at an infielder. I remember my brother.
So we got to stay to the end.
Well, I would have never left. I would have never left.
Right.
I'm that guy. I'm that guy.
I'm the same.
I remember there were, droves of Miami Heat fans trying to get back into the last game 6 of the finals.
Oh, yeah.
When Ray Allen bailed everybody out.
Yep.
With that 3. They were trying to get back in for overtime, I believe.
Yeah.
That was the funniest thing to see those guys try to get back in.
So speaking of basketball. Let's get into a little basketball season. I know you're excited about ring night and opening night.
Tuesday, ring night. Watch banner number 4 go up into the rafters. First one for Chase Stadium. It's gonna be great. Oh, we look so good. We're so deep. RIP league.
So are you? I have to ask. Are you like this is when everything's great and all, wonderful? Or it's we, right?
It's still we when we suck.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask.
When we suck, we suck.
Okay,
and we did.
Sometimes, oh man, the Warriors are terrible.
No, it's still we, man. It's still we.
Okay,
we looked real bad those 2 years.
I gotta ask. I know.
I've always been a proponent of the we.
Yeah.
People, the people that don't like the we, they say, well, you don't play. Why do you say we?
Because my heart and soul is invested.
That, and then I made them understand what we was when Louisville and Lamar Jackson started 1st and 25 for the game against Clemson in 2016 when nobody could hear themselves. 1st and 25, that's what we meant, people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what we means. 1st and 25. Go look it up, 2016 Louisville game.
It's true, though.
Clemson, Louisville,
It's
if you
true.
didn't get that.
Yeah, 1st and 25.
You didn't get it,
Louisville
was a
fans
Clemson
remember.
game.
Hey, I am an invested fan. If I'm a fan, I'm an invested fan. So just like I'm a Colts fan. We suck. Okay,
Yeah.
we suck.
Colts do suck.
Have sucked for a while, right?
Yeah.
But the Warriors, whenever we had those 2 years where we were just garbage, like we won maybe 40 games that one year because Steph got hurt, Clay was hurt. It was awful. We looked terrible. It was very hard to watch games, even though we still watched them at our house. But we were good last year, and I knew that, right? When we got Clay back, I was like, oh, it's over. Clay looked good. It's over. We are so deep right now. Our young guys on our second unit, man, we're going to destroy people's second unit. Ugh,
Are you missing a major piece for a while?
ready. No,
No?
Nope.
No?
not missing anybody.
No?
Nope.
All right.
He's playing.
That's where I was
He's
headed.
good.
Oh, really?
Everything's good.
Everything's good?
Everything's
Didn't
good.
look like everything was good.
Everything's gonna be fine. Him and Poole like dapped it up at the game yesterday after Poole made another incredible play, and we're good. Bygones be bygones. I don't condone what Draymond did. I think it's just completely unacceptable. But we're good.
Hard.
Oh, I know. So rumor has it he KO'd him.
Yeah.
And you can't really tell in the video, but they say it's because Poole fell into him, and he held him up. Man, I know that. So Jordan is known to be a bit of a trash talker, but
Your own team. Come on.
I mean, most guys, if you're trash talking, you don't care who it is. Like you're just gonna be talking nonsense. But you can't do that. Like that's not
Did
cool.
you see that?
That's not cool.
That is way not cool.
It's just not appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, there's no circumstances where that's good. I mean,
I'm not getting up. I'm out. I'm staying out. A couple days, maybe.
you know, maybe our competitive desires get the best of us if you're Draymond. I mean, you'd like to think it's not like it's something like that. Like maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he's an emotional player in general. Like we see that every game.
Maybe Draymond was taking something more serious than Jordan Poole was taking something, but because I mean, I remember the '90s.
Steve Kerr got punched by Jordan or something in practice.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Steve Kerr told that story, but yeah, I mean, even not outside of that.
Yeah.
Where Jordan was just ultra competitive in practices, and was
Right.
trying to hold people to his standard, which, and that's
a little
what
tough.
a lot of people, the younger generation, when they start comparing players and GOAT this and GOAT that, and the best of all time, they don't understand like the competitiveness that
they don't.
Michael Jordan displayed. They're discounting that for some reason. You don't see that competitiveness.
Not like that.
Not like that.
You saw it in Kobe. Kobe had it.
Yeah.
Kobe had it.
You'd see that.
LeBron does not have that.
I'd still put it at 9.5 and Jordan at a 10. I'd still put Kobe at 9.5 and Jordan on a 10. Though.
Yeah. But LeBron doesn't have that, and it's very evident.
And that's what
it's very evident because of what we've seen in these preseason games. What they had this whole Russell and Beverly thing. It's gonna be a soap opera this year. So they had a pregame huddle, like they have their last like team huddle where it's like go Lakers, whatever. Found it in this huddle, and then you see Russ like across the way taking his his warm up off and like doing his own thing. It's like, buddy, that's not gonna happen with the Warriors because Steph won't allow that. B, that would never happen with Jordan's Bulls. Like you're in it or you're not in it at all. Kobe wouldn't have allowed that. Like LeBron's if he wants to be the leader that he tries to claim that he is, then let's see it because you better get Russ on the same page here or you need to get him out of here.
Well, I've seen it 2009 before he went to Miami when he quit when Boston had him down by 30 points or something. And he quits. I don't see any tapes of Jordan quitting. You don't see many when he's down by 30 in the playoffs.
Correct.
But you also don't see many of them where he's quitting either. There was just a different respect for the game that was displayed when you were watching Jordan play.
Nothing drives me nuts more than watching LeBron walk off the court before they, especially at the end of a series. Like most guys, congratulate the other team. At least the guys that they like are friends with, and his sorry ass act back to the locker room. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, we gotta be better than that.
Yeah, but we got to start next Tuesday, though.
I'm so excited.
What's the opening games?
Lakers. Well, I think I don't know if Monday there actually might be some games that are opening. I just know that we open on Tuesday against the Lakers. Yes, the Warriors get to open on Tuesday against the Lakers.
All right. Let's talk a little NFL. I don't want to talk about your Colts.
Oh, they're terrible. Don't talk about them. There's nothing to talk about. We suck.
Ryan just needs to retire.
Yes.
Right?
I'm not sure what they were thinking when they made that trade.
I think they were thinking he would be able to manage the game.
I still think he's better than Wentz. Wentz is a hot
Man, I don't
mess.
know. They're about the same right now.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, neither one of them are very good.
I was glad to see Matt Ryan leave college. He used to tear Clemson up when he was at Boston College. That was a long time ago, and he's still playing in the NFL.
20 years ago.
I just want to every play of any game that's ever happened ties into Clemson somehow.
I know.
He's ignoring me right
I
now.
know.
Right? Excuse me, I'm spitting. This is crazy. Even NFL, he backtracks to somehow it involves Clemson.
Yeah, well, it always
All
does.
roads lead to Death Valley. Don't you get it, David?
I find that really interesting, considering that Clemson's only been like good in the last 10 years, and only for a short period.
Did you forget about the 1980s?
Yes, I was barely alive.
Oh, okay. Well, they were, they were very good in the 1980s.
I barely saw the 80s.
They had a 1990s gap where they weren't very competitive in the 90s from a field standpoint, but once we got Tommy Bowden, we started being a little competitive, and then we'd get to the near the top with Bowden. We'd get like the top 10, top 15, and we're doing pretty good, and then we'd go lose to Wake Forest on a Thursday night or something, and it was like, oh god.
Wake Forest has a football team?
Huh?
I said Wake Forest has a football team?
Wow.
Well, yeah, they got 125, 30.
I know they're just not usually very good.
Yeah, they're good this year. Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah, they got
It's
Sam
shocking.
Hartman.
It's
You NFL
shocking.
people are going to hear the name Sam Hartman. So he plays at Wake Forest, and he'll get drafted high, and everybody will hear Sam Hartman.
Oh, man, I'm pretty happy about that. I have snuck out some fantasy wins. Saved me a lot.
Yeah, he's always seems like a play, right?
Yeah,
he's amazing. You see the
And
catches
speaking
he
of
makes,
Carson
it's
Wentz,
unreal.
there was one week where I started Carson Wentz and sat Joe Burrow. Wentz got me 40,
yeah,
and then Burrow got me like 27.
Yeah.
So it was a
good.
good move on starting Carson
Yeah.
Wentz. Who would have
There you
thought?
go.
This guy thought
You can't
it worked.
you can't say that more than one time a year, but
Hey,
Yeah, but you had it, right?
Yeah.
All right, so NFL, what do you got anything you like this weekend?
I'm on the Cowboys train this week. They don't give up more than 20 points a game. The Eagles only usually like to score field goals, so I'm going with the Cowboys. I'm taking the points, and I would take the under. That's
It's 42, right?
it's 42. It's gonna be like 22-18 or something. It's gonna be crazy because I don't think the Cowboys are really gonna score touchdowns either, right? They just don't, because Cooper Rush just isn't that kind of quarterback.
Yeah, Michael
But-
Parsons might be the best in the NFL.
He's
He's an
unbelievable.
animal.
He's unbelievable, man. He's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
He's an animal.
It's really good.
I'll be curious to see if they can keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket. He hurts people with his legs.
I don't know. I mean, he has definitely taken a step forward.
He has. He's got 4 rushing touchdowns this year. He's only thrown like 5 or 6 in the air though. So if you keep him in the pocket, make him throw. That's your best bet.
Yeah, his first year or two at Alabama, he could barely throw the ball. He was aiming it when he'd throw it. I mean, it was awful.
No,
But
his arm isn't good.
He's taking a step forward. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
he has.
last year at Oklahoma, he kind of did okay there, and then he's got Philly doing good. So.
The biggest surprise for me this year is the Giants.
I'm still not a believer, man.
No, I'm not a believer, but it's pretty impressive what they're doing.
Yeah, it is. I thought so.
It is. Hey, Daniel Jones is honestly, he's like an Eli Manning light, which means he's going to throw the ball to the other team a lot, right? He's notoriously going to do that. But he has the arm and the ability to make good throws. downfield, stretch the field. He just likes to throw it away a lot. But with Barkley having the run game that they have, it's pretty incredible. So if their defense can hold people to not 50 points, then they got a shot. I think they have the makings of a good team. It just, I don't know. There's just something about them that I just can't believe. Yeah, I mean, maybe that helps them this year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hard to tell yet. Still too early for them. But
All
there's
the
a lot.
Chiefs. That's the one. But it's a 3:20 start. So.
I can't believe they didn't move it. Flex.
I don't understand what they do with these start times sometimes. You know, they got these terrible games on the Amazon channel on Thursday night.
Thursday night football is garbage.
Yeah, it was like the first Thursday, the Colts and Broncos. And then they said, hold on a second, we got one that's worse than that.
Yeah.
How about the Bears and the Washington?
Oh, God.
Was there been in the last 3 weeks like 2 touchdowns scored?
It's been awesome.
Something like that?
There has been, before this past week, there had been 1 touchdown in the last 45 Thursday night games, I think, or something like that. It was something crazy.
1 touchdown in the last
Yes, it's been 45 quarters.
45 quarters.
It's crazy.
Quarters.
It's crazy.
Yeah. That's 10, 11, 12 games.
Yes. Yes.
I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad.
It's that bad.
Yeah, so obviously use defense in your field goal kickers on Thursday night for your showdown captain mode,
That's
DFS, right?
You should pound the unders on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Anytime the Bears are playing, you pound
Yeah,
the under, though. That's the Iowa football of the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, Iowa won a game 7-3 this year, Brittany.
I know. I heard about that one.
They didn't score a touchdown. They scored a field goal and 2 safeties.
So, yeah, it's crazy.
What's this? 45
drives,
what's that? 45
drives.
Yeah, 45
That's
drives.
still a lot. That's still a lot. That's still way too many for no touchdowns in the professional league.
Yeah, and then the Monday night game. Who's on the Monday night game? Broncos
Chargers.
We love the Chargers. How do you feel about the Chargers? It's -4, isn't it?
Yeah, we definitely love the Chargers.
Yes.
-4 now.
It looks too easy. It does.
Well, whatever. I'll take it.
Yeah, I think I'll take it. Is Keenan Allen back yet? Is he still out?
Who?
Keenan Allen. Is he coming back?
Not sure.
If he's playing, the Chargers are going to score like 35. But I like Herbert, man. I'm a Herbert fan. He's the guy who gets forgotten.
And they're doing this now. We're just throwing up to Mike Williams. He catches everything.
He's like 6'7". I don't blame him.
I watched him catch a few balls at Clemson.
Oh goodness.
I did. Oh
Of
yeah.
course.
Fade to Mike. That was the play. Fade to Mike.
All right, Mr. Riffy, I'm going to say.
That's right. Let's go Blues.
Let's go
Home
Blues.
opener tonight, right?
Yeah. Right. Thanks for
We are
reminding
scoring
me.
a lot of goals right now.
Yeah.
I don't know much about hockey. Like I openly admit that's not a sport that I'm like super into. I'm gonna root for the Blues because it's fun, and I like to watch hockey. But
Clemson does not have a hockey team.
oh my God, John! Oh goodness.
Tune in next week for Clemson John and the Clemson Show.
Yes, let's go.
Don't
Blues
forget to
tonight.
order your Clemson gear through Clemson John.
It will not be hockey gear. We do not have a hockey team.
Yeah. That's the Clemson Blues are playing this evening.
No hockey in the South.
Are you a hockey guy at all?
I'll watch it in playoffs and maybe.
Playoff hockey's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Playoff
so
hockey is
awesome. I can watch any team.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy.
It's like, how does it
hockey.
get that much faster? And it does. During playoffs.
I know.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I'm just when you go from like regular like college football than anything in any other sport to all of the pro sports where you've got baseball, you got game number 93, that nobody remembers, even the most avid hardcore followers not going to remember game number 93. And then hockey, you've got game number 46, and the NFL might have, remember 3 years ago, week 5. But in college football, I'll remember everything for 5 years ago for week 6, it's.
Yeah, but you only have, 12 games to remember each year?
You got 16 in the NFL, 17.
17, going to 18.
But that's because the regular season is so different. And that's what I want these people, I want them to be aware of expanding this playoff, and it's going to water down the regular season. I'm just going to say that now. I just want everybody to be aware of that.
Is okay. I think going to the 14 playoff was a good move because it was objective when they had to put you 1 through 4.
Yeah, but what makes
and who was going to be
football-
1 or 2. I liked going to the 4-game playoff.
Yeah,
I thought
what
that
makes
was a
college
good
football
one.
special, though, is it's not about the national. It's not about who's the number 1 team.
It's
It's about that
it's
big
about the
Orange
money.
Bowl win. It's not, though.
But no one really cares about that.
They did before.
They
Not
did
in
it.
the
That's why
last
they did this.
6, 7, 8, 10 years, but they did before.
But
that big Orange Bowl win we had against Ohio State, that wasn't a national championship game. One of the best wins I ever seen.
yeah,
that
but you're not a
LSU win in
champion.
2013.
But you're not a champion.
We
You're
won
only
an
a
ACC
champion.
championship. We
You're
won an
only a
Orange Bowl.
champion if you are the actual
But that's what makes college football so special is it's not about who the champion is.
But that's probably, honestly, that's
Yeah,
probably
you're better off
why.
talking to me.
No, it's probably why I don't really care about college football because there wasn't a champion.
Well, there is a champion.
There is now.
Yeah, well, okay, there is now. But
I didn't like the subjectiveness of who are going to make 1 or 2 because so and so only had 1 loss and this team's had no losses and all. I don't like any of that. I like this 4-team playoff. It's much better for the game. You actually get usually the top 4 teams in there. There's not usually as much
it's just
criticism
more of
of
an
that.
overall sport. So everybody can't be a champion, obviously. But that doesn't mean just because you finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th, that you had a terrible year.
No, it just means you aren't a champion.
You won a champion of whatever game, whatever the bowl game you went to, and whatever your conference championship was. So what
Conference
goals,
championship is different.
Dabo makes a great point when he talks about his team goals. He says, win the opener, okay, win the division, win the state, win the conference, and win the closer. That's the 5 goals, whatever the closer is.
Yeah.
So we do that, we're going to have a pretty good year.
All right. Well, we're gonna end with you on that note. It's like talking to that wall.
I know.
So, I mean,
That's all right.
Yeah,
I get it. I'm a diehard too.
He asked that question to other guests, and they say something different, and he just keeps talking to the wall.
No, I get it.
All right, Britt, thanks for joining us. Hope you come back soon.
Absolutely, anytime.
All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get Clemson John's football picks for today. We'll be right back.
Domination. I've got a golden ticket.
We're back here live at DraftKings at Casino Queen. Hey, send me a picture of that ticket. I want to see it. I gave you the card. Hey, we got people in action. I love it. Let me see what we got here. LA Kings beat the Minnesota Wild. Wait, Minnesota beat the Kings. Money line. Minus 170.
All right.
Yeah.
Getting in some hockey action.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We got
Getting a
some
little
sweat.
hockey
Yeah,
action.
I like it.
Minus 170,
Hey,
they
what's
better
going
not.
on? Hey, guys.
Oh.
I love it. You see, this is what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
We're here live here at DraftKings at Casino Queen.
They're pouring
They're
in
yell-
here,
they're
David. We got 20 minutes to kick off.
Wait,
20 minutes.
They're yelling from the bleachers. I love it. This is fantastic, John. We got to get into your picks, so so we can get in action. I love when Britt's on. She's so informative, so knowledgeable about so many sports.
Oh yeah. You can tell
great.
when we start going that she kind of follows everything and knows what she's talking about.
Yeah,
for
let's
sure.
go Blues. Opener tonight for the Blues, right?
Yeah, got some hockey action.
Yeah.
Game one of 82. So
Yeah.
we'll kind of see how they look, I guess. So
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might have to put a future in for them because I'm a homer.
boy, they were
Right.
putting futures in 2019.
Yeah.
200 to 1.
My friend Mr. Riffy, who's watching right now,
Yeah.
had a very good year that year, and I'm so happy for him when he got to spend time with the Cup.
Yeah.
My man, Mr. Riffy. All right, we got to get your picks in. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it, guys. So as you may know, we like to do this in order of time. So we want to see where we're at after the 11 o'clock starts. We want to see if we've got to dig ourselves out of the hole or we're just going to smash it with more profit.
Well,
David.
last week, crushed it early, a little rough afternoon.
Yeah, crushed it early, went 6-3. As I said earlier, we'll take 6-3 every day.
Every day.
We'll bet ping pong if we can go 6-3. But I know one thing that stood out to me to open up was Penn State, Michigan. Penn State's going to be, up for this game. They they went down to Auburn and just smashed Auburn in the second half of that game, which Auburn is kind of given up, I think. They're a sad state of affairs down on the plains in Auburn. But I think that Penn State's going to keep this game close. They're going to keep it close. So I like Penn State +7 here to start with. And then Ole Miss and Auburn is also an 11 a.m. game. That second half. Last week I picked Auburn +29.5 or +29 against Georgia. And we look like we're in good shape to cover that in the first half.
Yeah, first half looked good.
The second half of that game, Auburn gave up defensively. And they have no offense, so that wasn't
what we were
surprising.
hoping is some of the starters would be taken out because they had such a big –
Well, we were just hoping that Auburn wouldn't give up on defense in the second half.
Yeah, well, but Georgia never had that big lead to take out their starters.
Right, they never had the big lead until late.
We didn't get a junk late cover, right?
Yeah.
But what we did do is, and that we need to mention in the future, is my 4-teamer that we hit, you moved the line to 34.5.
Yeah, I like to do that in a lot of spots. So move it to where it's like -230, -200, parlay a few of them together, and you can do it that way. So you're not making a single bet at -200. So you're parlaying them together. You can do.
Well, that was the difference of us hitting it or not.
That was the difference of us hitting and us
hitting it or not. And we hit a 4-teamer. Yeah, it didn't pay 10 to 1. It paid like 8.5 to 1.
Yeah.
But 8.5 to 1 is better than 0.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when you're taking a big dog, move another touchdown, right?
Yeah, move it up 6, 7, 8 points,
Yeah.
And they'll let you do that here at DraftKings at Casino Queen.
What's up, T? Good to see you.
And I know the next thing that popped off to me, everybody's going to be on this game, David. Everybody. So the bookies are going to clean up if this doesn't cover today. Yeah. Kansas +9. I looked about an hour ago. It's moved to 10. So now you're getting 10 points with Kansas.
Auburn Ole Miss. What'd you like?
Auburn Ole Miss. So there's a first half game line that I believe is -190 on there. So I like Ole Miss to win the first half, Ole Miss to win the game. That's one of the options here at DraftKings.
Well, they're -700. So on the
game. So if you take it moves it from if you take the first half and you take the game as a combination, it's -190.
I like that. Yeah, you take a -700 favorite. All they got to do is have the lead at the first half, right?
Yep.
And then if they're -700, good chance they're going to win the game, right?
Absolutely.
So you just got to get by the first half and hope they don't lay an egg in the first half.
Yep. So come down here to DraftKings at Casino Queen. You can make that bet here where it's win the first half, win the game, and you can move it down from -700 to -190 to -200 or so and parlay those together for sure.
All right, Kansas, Oklahoma.
Yeah, Kansas. It's moved from +9 to +10. So I guess all this Oklahoma money's coming in, I guess.
Oh, then more for me.
Yeah,
right?
I'll take another point.
All day long.
So Kansas +10 is where it stands here now. So, I mean, I don't know how this thing – they've been giving Kansas points all year, and Kansas just said, that's fine with me. I'll go 5-1. You keep making me underdogs, So Kansas +10, 11 a.m. start. And another – line that jumped out at me early this week was Illinois +4.5. They're at home, 5-1. Tommy DeVito's playing good. The transfer from Syracuse.
Trying to find it on the sheet.
So he's playing good for Illinois.
What time is the game?
It's an 11 a.m. game.
All right,
so
I'm missing it here.
Yeah, I just think that Minnesota's been struggling. They didn't have Muhammad Ibrahim, the running back, one of the best running backs, if not the best in the country. They didn't have Ibrahim against Purdue in that game, and it cost them. They only scored 10 points. But I like the Illini here at home because Minnesota's been struggling without Ibrahim. So we'll take the home team with 4.5 here. We'll see how Minnesota looks, though. If Ibrahim can get back on track and show that he's healthy, then it may be a long day for Illinois because this guy's one of the best running backs in the country.
You like the under?
No, I like taking the points rather than the under. because there's that wild card of that running back from Minnesota that he's the best, if not the best in the country. So if he goes off for 2 touchdowns, then I don't like that under, So there's a little hesitancy because of that. Now, if Ibrahim wasn't playing, I smashed the under because, they looked terrible without him against Purdue. He didn't play against Purdue, and Minnesota looked terrible. So that'll pretty much wrap up the 11 o'clock hour, guys. I don't see anything else that kind of jumped off at me early. I don't see anything right now where the lines have moved that I like. So moving into the afternoon, we'll see if we've dug ourselves a hole or we're gonna smash with some profit.
It's the greatest thing. Is one of the things that I love about college football, and there's betting all day in NFL and any sport, right? I mean, but when talking about college football, it's morning to night, and there's so many games.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
a lot of action.
Of action, and there's a lot in the NFL too, but there's nothing like the action in college football as far as it's a lot.
Yeah, you've got a lot of exciting 11 a.m. Central games, a lot of 2:30 games, and then you've got the 6:30, 7 o'clock starts to round out the night. So it's always exciting.
We got plenty of time left. I just want to. We got like 11 minutes left. So I want to ask you: is it like you don't answer your phone kind of day? Is it just strictly you and the TV or you and the sports book? And
yeah.
I mean, yours is zoned in?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You're not going into work. You're not.
Yeah. Oh no. There's you don't go do things outside of college football on Saturdays. There's a reason they have the saying Saturdays are for the boys because what you don't go do. I like to do everything Friday night. I like to make sure early Saturday morning to where I don't have any distractions come 11 a.m. or if I'm back in South Carolina noon. I don't have any distractions. I don't want anybody, saying, "Can you come do this for me? Can you do that?" Or,
they know I don't want any.
Better I don't want any honey-do list from the wifey. She watches the games with me too, though. I do say that. But, I've gotten her to be somewhat of a fan, as you can imagine.
So after college football season ends, the national championship, is it like an empty feeling in your stomach?
Yeah, it is, It really is. It's like it came and went so fast, and now we've got to slug our ways through the dog days of summer with I like baseball, but we got to slug our ways through with game number 86 of the baseball season and waiting on football to get here, and it just doesn't feel like it's going to get here. And then, bam, that week 0 and week 1 gets here, and it's, that's really exciting. And now we're into the third Saturday of October. You know what the third Saturday of October means, David? Historically? Alabama, Tennessee. Alabama, Tennessee, and that brings us into our next pick. Alabama, Tennessee is always the third Saturday of October, folks, for y'all that didn't know that. And this is the most hyped Alabama, Tennessee game in 15 years. We got somebody screaming for the Longhorns here now. Under on the Longhorns, they're saying. But, yeah, Alabama, Tennessee, we're going to take Tennessee +9 here. Now, a lot of people, I feel, are going to be taking Tennessee +9. So
it moved to 9. We got another half a point.
Yeah.
Right on.
The money's coming in on Alabama and Oklahoma in these two games.
I'll take the extra half a point.
I don't see it, David. I don't see how they're going to cover 9 points with his joints messed up in his shoulder. Bryce Young, the Heisman winning quarterback for Alabama, his shoulder's messed up. This is a big-time game. Them Tennessee defenders are going to be going after that shoulder every play. They're going to be coming after Bryce Young and then that shoulder. So just don't see how they're going to cover 9 points. I don't see it. So I love Tennessee +9. I love Kansas +10.
All right, we'll get to Kansas in just a second. Hey, we're going to be sticking around here after our show today. If you guys want to come down and visit with us, talk with us, we'll be more than happy to help you get your wagers in or talk about anything that you want to talk about. So
yeah. And they've always got these betting guides here too.
Yep.
Over as you walk into the entrance. So that's the nice thing about it. And like and subscribe as well. Like, subscribe, and comment. This is how we keep doing what we do. So this is how we keep having the passion for college football, the passion and pageantry. So This is how we keep doing it, guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment.
Yeah.
So.
Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, like I said
Ryan really
earlier,
likes this
Kansas
game.
plus
Yeah.
9. Yeah, we met. Ryan likes it. I like it. I think most of the world likes it. So, we'll see where it goes. But I'll take Kansas plus 9 against a team that just lost to Texas 49-0 and just gave up 40-something to TCU.
What time's that game at?
It's an 11 a.m. game.
Okay.
Yeah, the
So
Kansas
we're going a little
one.
backwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another 2:30 spot I like the points with Oklahoma State. I think Sanders at quarterback for Oklahoma State's playing very good. Mike Gundy's been there. It feels like Mike Gundy has been there since like 1980 or something. That guy has just been there forever. But I think it's been 2003. He's been there 19 years. But, Mike Gundy knows what he's doing at Oklahoma State. So Sanders is turning it on at quarterback. The Oklahoma State quarterback, Sanders, has a chance to be the best quarterback in the history of Oklahoma State.
Wow.
So, yeah, this kid is lighting them up. They're getting points on the road at TCU. So I think TCU is a little not as good as the experts think. Not as good as the odds makers and the experts think. So I like Oklahoma State plus the 5 points and Sanders to make some plays. And another 2:30 game is Syracuse-NC State. So NC State's got to go up to that dome with Syracuse. Syracuse plays in that dome where they play basketball. And that can be one of the most frustrating, weird places for a visitor to go. So Syracuse is always going to have that slight little edge in that dome they play in. So they're -3, I believe. It hasn't moved. They're still -3. I like Syracuse -3 against NC State. They win this one, they'll move to 6-0, and then they'll be 6-0 coming into Death Valley next week.
Speaking of Death Valley, you'll be there for the Louisville game.
Yeah. November 12th, guys.
John will be live on our show.
Yep.
Saturday
We'll have
morning.
some great content from the Louisville game.
Yeah.
Some shots of Death Valley. I'm excited about that one for sure.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Yep. It's always good to get to a game for sure, and November 12th will be exciting. So
what else we got?
We're excited about the Louisville game on the 12th, and an interesting game. I don't know if I like laying this many points. James Madison's ranked. The JMU. Yeah. James Madison University is ranked. They're -13 against Georgia Southern today. That's too big of a line for me to take, 13. But I do notice that James Madison's ranked for the first time in the history of their school. They've only been in the Sun Belt Conference and been eligible for these rankings for the past 3 years, I believe, or so. They were in that lower division in the playoff system in the FCS, the Football College Subdivision. So JMU's ranked for the first time. Another game, that'll close out the 2:30 slate. So that'll close that out. And then going to the nightcap, 6 o'clock Central, we got 2 terrible teams going to Gainesville. We're going to go to Gainesville with Florida LSU. These 2 teams are they're a mess. They're trying to find their identity. They're going to lose 4 games this year. But, one of them's got to win this game, though. They can't both lose it, no matter how bad they are. I like Florida -2. I think there is value here. They're at home. LSU just wildly inconsistent. They're dropping kickoffs and muffing the ball, fumbling it every time you turn around last week against Tennessee. So I like Florida at home, against LSU. Florida had a nice win against Utah, first game of the year. So I think only laying 2 points with the home team is some nice value here with Florida -2. And another line that I noticed hasn't moved, I thought was going to move when I looked at it on Monday, was Stanford and Notre Dame. Stanford's getting 16.5 points. And anytime somebody's getting 16.5 points against Notre Dame this year, you just blindly take the 16.5. They're not good enough to beat anybody by 16.5. So I'll take Stanford plus 16.5 here. And I'm going to agree with Ryan on the North Carolina Duke pick. I like North Carolina -7 against Duke. They just got too much firepower offensively. I talked about earlier how they can't stop anybody. We know that, but they're just too much for Duke. I like North Carolina -7. And then Now, our get even or get even worse game, the last game of the night, is going to be Nevada, Hawaii. I don't like touching that one, guys, but there is one that starts about an hour before that at 9:45. San Jose State, Fresno State. San Jose State's looking impressive. The Spartans of San Jose State, by the way. They're taking on the Bulldogs of Fresno State, the Dogs, the West Coast Dogs. So we're going to lay the 7.5. Actually, we're going to move it from 7.5 to 7. We're going to lay 7 points with San Jose State here. I like San Jose State in the spot. Coming off a nice win against a mediocre to bad UNLV team. So I like San Jose State for sure here.
Okay, we only got about a minute and a half left. I want to let everybody know what we got coming up. November 3rd, it's a Thursday, and Breeders' Cup is November 4th and 5th. One of my favorite weekends of the year.
The horses. I'll be psyched for the horses, David.
Well, I'm glad you're psyched because we're going to have an incredible special edition of the Winning Ticket. We're going to do a Breeders' Cup handicapping show on the 3rd of November. 2 weeks from this coming Thursday. I'm very excited. I know James Scully from Churchill Downs is going to join us, working on, hopefully Nick Hines is from TVG is going to join us. I'm just so excited about the Breeders' Cup as much as you are excited about college football. I mean,
hey, I like the ponies too. I like the horses.
All right. Well, we're going to have plenty of action.
Yeah, if we had 15 more minutes, I'd talk about the horses.
Well, we got to close things out, but I want to let everybody know you can send us a message on air at thewinningticket21.com. Any questions about coming here, food, reservations, DraftKings at CasinoQueen.com. We're also on 590 The Fan every Friday night at 6 o'clock for an hour after Bernie Miklasz. Go to 590thefan.com. Go to the podcast page for any previous or even last night's edition. We're looking forward to next week, Earl Barron Jr. I'm really looking forward to that. I want to thank Brittany Williams, Prodigy MMA. Will be back with us next week for the super card. He's going to give us our picks. I want to thank Clemson John. And of course, this doesn't happen without Russell Sides. Guys, until next week, thanks for watching.